Welcome and thanks for joining me. It's a cold and windy January morning 2021, but in need of a little bit of fresh air, I stepped out into my front garden to film my Spark 2 mounted on the back of my bait boat for photography at the lake and added bonus of GPS. The photography of Spark 2 is improved considerably over a standard video camera based on the fact that the DJI Spark has 1080p and a gimbal, so the footage will be great, and I can also control it from an app on the shore at the lakeside as if it was first person view or FPV. Radio controlled bait boat moves out into the lake near my floating surface bait, and the Spark takes up the photography part of the task. It's mounted on a radio control bait boat, as I say, but there's also a radio controlled support mechanism for the Spark which allows me to rotate the Spark 360 degrees should I so wish. So that's pan sorted. Tilt is on the gimbal, all saved to an SD card. Magic. Because of the present conditions with the current lockdown, you'll see that it's floating on a sea of grass on my front lawn rather than in a picturesque setting at my favourite lake. But where there's a will there's a way. I decided to send Spark 1 up to get some practice filming Spark 2 and the bait boat in action, because it's an art that I haven't mastered yet and practice makes perfect. So here's a short video with me having fun flying Sparky around the bait boat carrying Spark 2. Hope you enjoy it. The UAV app said it was too gusty to fly today, so that's why all of this is very low level stuff, but that was part of the intended practice. Areas I need to work on are always operating the tilt for the gimbal the correct way. It just doesn't seem intuitive to me. Maybe a bit more practice will help, but the number of times I tilt up when I'm meant to tilt down and vice versa. So any movement of the Spark at low level is due to the gusty conditions, and I guess we don't notice it the higher up we are. It's all relative. 6 inches movement to the left or right would hardly be noticeable if you're 100 feet or 200 feet up. but when you're down to this sort of height, holding station just shows how hard the civilian GPS system that we use on the Spark, how hard it is for it to hold station. When I was offshore, we used to use GPS that was almost military grade, and we could stay on station with an ROV, very accurate, and the supply boats use similar accurate GPS to avoid banging into oil rig legs. So I take GPS accuracy with a pinch of salt these days. I'm hoping to use it to pinpoint spots on the lake, but I'm not holding my breath. Whereas the accuracy is better than just line of sight. It is only within a few feet after all. So getting back to the flying. What did I want to try? Well, I wanted to try holding station, and I soon found the limitations to that. I wanted to try flying as low as I could, but I wasn't sure whether it would start to land, which of course doesn't matter when you're over your front lawn, but it certainly does matter if you're over a lake. So I wanted to try it, but I'm not going to be expecting too much from it because I value my Spark too much. So tilting up and down smoothly and accurately, it's a big tick on the practice list. I need to practice more. A nice breath of fresh air, although no exercise was involved. I had a scarf on and a hat, and it was still cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Join me again soon. Bye for now.